And then uncle's like, yeah, that's porridge. I'm like, no, this is rice with soup.
Welcome to another episode of Culture Shock, and I'm Siu.
And I am Zane, and Culture Shock is basically a show where we bring our friends from different countries all around the world, and then we discuss about the experiences in Singapore, because they have either recently or not so recently moved into Singapore, which is where we are from.
So to start things off, can you guys introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Grace, and I've been in Singapore for 9 years. Yeah, so I'm not very far away. I'm actually from Malaysia. So what do? I'm actually a nurse over here.
Hey, I'm Max Chernov. I'm originally from Russia. I've been living in Singapore for 4 years. I do online marketing, social media marketing. We have a agency, educational company, and also I do a lot of content myself for YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube channel called Max Chernov.
I'm Cassandra. I'm from Indonesia, and I actually stay in Batam, which is not very far from Singapore. I've been in Singapore for almost 10 years actually.
So hi, I'm Amandine, and I'm from France. I've been living in Singapore for 3 years. So I'm doing IT product management, and I also create content around Singapore. So on TikTok and YouTube, you can find me at New to Singapore.
So actually, right, our friends today, they kind of have already stayed in Singapore for a couple of years.
Yes.
What is your first impression of Singapore when you first came in? Your impression of Singaporeans?
Very fast-paced.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Fast-paced in what sense?
Like we walk very fast. Because I walk very fast.
That's true also.
It's true?
Yes. I used to take my time to walk, but in here everything is super fast. Everyone walks so quickly. Yeah, even the way they talk, at first I couldn't really get, because the first time I came to Singapore, I wanted to order chicken rice. And I wasn't able to understand what she was saying, do you want to eat here or do you want to tapao? And I couldn't understand. It took me 3-4 times for her to repeat herself. And I can finally get it. Yeah.
The thing is, I've heard about people saying that Singaporeans talk very fast, we eat very fast, we walk very fast, we do things very fast.
Yes.
But I don't know, for me, I don't feel it.
Oh, I feel it when I walk with my friends because they are very slow. Even though I'm much shorter, I walk much faster.
Before I came to Singapore, I've never knew that there's this thing called Teochew porridge. When I eat porridge, it's the Cantonese style congee. I remember I went to a Cai Fan stall. And I asked the guy, I was like, because I'm not feeling so well, maybe I get porridge. And then he gave me Teochew porridge, and I was like, Uncle, this is not porridge. And then I just like, Uncle, I wanted porridge. And then Uncle was like, yeah, that's porridge. I'm like, no, this is rice with soup. Yeah. And then he was like, no, this is porridge. And I was like, seriously? This is porridge? Yeah, so that was a huge culture shock for me. Yeah, but after a while I realized, oh, actually, back in Malaysia, there is also such a thing called Teochew porridge. It's just not something that I grew up with.
I remember being frozen to death in a taxi in MRT.
What?
Yeah, honestly,
It's so cold?
I used to stay near Buena Vista, and every time I need to go to Changi, 40 minutes in the MRT, I was just frozen.
Oh my, but even though you have winter in Russia?
No, it's actually, that's the problem, because I was frozen almost half of my life. I don't want to be frozen anymore. So that was my cultural shock. Now I'm completely fine with it.
But you know why, right? It's because it's so hot in Singapore.
I know.
Wherever we can have aircon, we need to blast it to the max.
Yeah, I know some Singaporeans hate this weather, but I love this weather.
Yeah. And also coming to Singapore, one thing I had to get used to is my art, because that's where we are spending most of the time. And you have this thing in Singapore, I think other countries might have it also, the switch, to turn on the electricity for your power outlet. And so many times I put my phone to charge, but then I never think about turning this thing on. We don't have the switch on and off, it's already off or on when you plug the thing. So many times I just plugged something and I was waiting and
it wasn't charged.
Oh
no!
Wait, so you don't have the switches in France?
No.
So it's just an open socket and you just plug it in?
Why would you close something if there is nothing? Why would the power come out?
I don't know, because as a kid, we were taught in school and not touch the power socket because you get electrocuted.
Yeah, but if you're a kid, you can switch it on. If
Right.
That's true.
Well, for my parents, they ask me not to on it when I don't need to use it because we can save electricity bills. I don't know if that's true.
I'm
if
not
nothing's
sure.
done. I don't know.
I didn't know that in France. Or is it also in Russia or is it
No button, just socket. That's it.
just socket and that's it?
Wow,
Wow.
okay. What about for the both of you?
What do you think?
Should be the same like yours.
Yeah, neighbors.
I mean, can't you not see how shocked I was?
Alright. You look shocked too, so I guess you have switched.
Yeah.
Okay. Since you guys have been in Singapore for quite a number of years, would you say that you have gotten used to the life in Singapore?
No, it's easy place to settle down. Everything's just works smoothly.
So you didn't take long to get used to living in Singapore?
No, it's easy and it's English.
I think it's because I came here when I was quite young. Yeah, so I was like after high school, 17, 18 years old. And that's basically the time that you start to get to know more people, you know, you go to school, you go to college, all these things. This is the period of time that you really start to sort of like live your young adult life. Yeah, so if this is like your initial exposure, then yeah, to get used to like life here is not that hard.
When you're not like feeling like home and like you want to find like comfort food, it was really hard to find because French food you can find it in Singapore, but often like, for a very hefty price. Singapore food like chicken rice now is my comfort food.
I felt shocked at first. I came here for my O levels, and in Indonesia, the national exam, there's no essay questions. It's all multiple choice questions. Yes.
So good!
Yeah. Okay.
All you gotta do is just like pick numbers.
Last time, it's just MCQ. It's gonna be very easy for people to cheat. The Indonesian government actually changed the system in which every person in that class will have a different exam paper. Because of that, we're trained to just find the correct answers. No matter how you solve it, it doesn't really matter. Once I moved to Singapore for my O levels, I was super stressed because I have to memorize the keywords to get the points, and there's so much to memorize, and I'm so not used to all the memorizing and stuff. Over time, I love Singapore culture and everything in Singapore. It just makes me feel secure, stable, and protected.
Is there something in Singapore that you wish like your home country has?
The situation in France is pretty bad. As a woman, you're not feeling comfortable like just walking at night. Like even taking a Grab would be risky because you're not sure they're going to get you to your destination. The safety in Singapore, like you can be comfortable just hanging out everywhere. Even Yishun.
Oh, Yishun.
Yishun. Oh my gosh, she went there, girl!
Do you know about Yishun? Do you know how Singaporeans feel?
At night is still fine. compared to France, it's still fine.
Security from Singapore is like very important for Indonesia to have as well. There's always new thing that we can learn from each other culture. The pace is slower. People are more relaxed, chill. Yeah.
Singapore has a lot of rules, right?
Yes, it's a fine city.
Fine city, that's what they say.
Yeah.
It's a fine city in a good way. There are clear rules, clear guidance, what to do and what not to do. For example, when I was in Singapore like 2014, 8 p.m. I was staying at the side of the road. We needed to cross the road. Singapore, if we cross the road without green light, straight away and go to jail for 5 years. You know what I mean? And then it was like, okay, and no cars. And then we crossed the road and nothing happened.
I definitely agree with both Cassandra and Emily because yeah. I don't know if Singaporeans realize it enough that the security or even how safe this place is. Growing up, I've never ever, gone out of the house after 7 p.m. I really hope that, we can have that back at home as well because it's really very free. Like when you're out here, it's okay for you to be out at like 10 or 10, 11 p.m. I mean, I'm not saying that this place is completely safe. Yeah, because how the government always like to say, low crime is not no crime.
Right.
So that doesn't mean that you should be not vigilant.
How is transportation like for the rest of your home countries?
So actually I was surprised that so many Singaporeans have a license but they never use it. In fact, you can start from when you're 17 and you can drive with the parents and you can drive along.
Right.
It's very necessary because usually you are living very far from your uni. On a daily basis, you're going to use the car. I mean, I used to take the train all the way because my school was 1 hour away from where I live.
I guess in Indonesia, we don't really have public transport. Even if we have, I think it's only in major cities like Jakarta, but Batam, we don't really have it. Most of it is just bus. People usually afford motorcycle, cars, because it's not that expensive as compared to Singapore. I think people usually go with personal transportation. Even if you go to Bali, you would rent a car and a driver as well, right? Because it's quite difficult to move around without it. Yeah.
It depends on, it's like Indonesia, it's each country, right? It depends where you live. In Moscow, public transport is pretty good, I would say. The one thing is, which started to be super popular within the last few years, it's car sharing. You can have a nice BMW, Mercedes for car sharing. Many of my friends, they actually sold their cars because they use a lot of car sharing.
What is something that is in your country that you wish Singapore had?
In Malaysia, we have a lot more nice places to go to. So there's beaches, there's mountains, there's waterfalls. There's just a lot of different choices that you can go to because, to be honest, it's bigger compared to Singapore. We're back in Malaysia, we can just travel around Malaysia, it's fine. You don't really have to go overseas.
I agree with you because it would be cool to have more nature.
It's good that Singapore is very fast-paced because now I'm working, it feels very stressful sometimes. So when I go back to Indonesia, it kind of feel like it's a refreshing getaway.
I would say
Cheap
food.
wine.
Cheap wine and cheap cheese. I rather have cheese. In France, actually, it's very common that the family in this fridge has over 10 variety of cheese in the fridge. Supermarket, you can find 100 variety. In Singapore, you only find the orange one. We don't call that cheese.
Oh, what do you call that?
Super processed. For us, where I'm from, we are buying the cheese directly from the farm, and you get those huge round.
Yeah.
A bit more of locally produced things.
Yeah, I think also because we lack space, land,
Yeah.
and some natural resources. So a lot of things we have get it from other countries and import it in.
Yeah, but it's so cool. It's you have 10 cheese in your fridge?
Yeah.
Wow.
The only cheese I have in my fridge is the one covered in plastic in the square
Cheese
box.
dill.
That's the kind of cheese that she don't call it cheese.
So we have come to the end of this episode.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing with us your experiences in Singapore.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring the notification bell and watch other videos over there. Bye!